Welcome to Bicycle Retail Radio, presented by the National Bicycle Dealers Association. Bicycle Retail Radio brings together retailers, vendors, advocates, and thought leaders for honest discussions about the latest issues facing bicycle retailers. The podcast dives deep into the challenges and triumphs of the bicycle industry, providing an in-depth look at the person behind the profession. Aiming to deliver content that's both relatable and thought-provoking, offering real-world tips and insights to help you find success in the bicycle industry. There's a human side of the business, and the podcast aims to share stories, experiences, and strategies that you can apply in your own shop. Whether you're looking for inspiration, practical advice, or a sense of community, you've come to the right place. The National Bicycle Dealer Association has a rich history of supporting retailers across the nation. Founded in 1946 with a mission to strengthen specialty bicycle retailers through education, through research, through communication, and through advocacy. The National Bicycle Dealer Association is proudly supported by our members and our membership. If you'd like to learn more about the benefits of joining, please visit nbda.com.
Specialty bicycle retailers are the heart of the cycling industry, and the National Bicycle Dealers Association exists to strengthen these businesses through education, research, communication, and advocacy. When we create thriving bicycle retailers, the industry and the cycling community follows. Memberships are available for individuals, retailers, and association partners committed to supporting the mission. Join today at NBDA.com.
We are Bivo, a stainless steel cycling water bottle company. The idea for Bivo came from the realization Robbie and I had when our daughter was young. We didn't want to feed her out of plastic bottles, and as we were searching for safe, non-plastic alternatives, we realized that we too use plastic bottles every time we exercised. It was wild for us to realize that metal bottles for cycling didn't exist, so we created one. With the universal cage fit and a high flow rate, Bivo bottles are the go-to bottle for cyclists ready for a cleaner, faster, and more fun drinking experience.
All right, listeners, welcome back to the Flex. Today is our retail design Flex. There's a lot of energy happening over here. This is our ongoing podcast feature focused specifically on store design, remodeling, and merchandising, and it's produced in partnership with NBDA Association member Fixture Lab. I'm Heather Mason, NBDA Executive Director, and I'm joined here by Brian Hawkins. Brian, it's so great to see you.
Oh, it is lovely to see you.
Oh my God.
Happy to be here.
Thank you, Brian. All right, listeners, you know the routine. Fixture Lab has been in bike shop design and merchandising for years. They know how hard it can be to run a retail store, and they also know what works. And they create hardworking solutions for bicycle retailers every day that is paid off big time for shops around the country. I know because those shops tell me. So if you have a small retail business, if you're a cycling business, running, fly fishing, outdoor sports, you need to know about Fixture Lab. They are really helping retailers design cutting edge retail spaces. And they also have a full line of retail store fixtures. So go over to fixturelab.com. We've linked in the show notes. You can see what's happening. And Brian is just an all-around amazing guy.
Whoever this Brian Cat is and whoever this Fixture Lab place is, they sound amazing. So it seems like you should reach out.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I continue to hear feedback from our listeners that they love our retail design Flex, that they're learning a lot. This is a bi-monthly feature, and we cover your questions on store design.
Hey,
so
speaking of that,
what?
I don't want people to get complacent because, you know, you always say that people send us questions, but we still want more and more questions. We still want more information, more things that you'd like to talk about on the podcast, because we can really take your direction on how the conversation should go, right?
Yeah, right. All right. So Brian's pumped up about this. I'm going to get pumped up too, because I hear from retailers all the time saying, we love the show. We love the show. We love the show. Well, give us some questions too. Like
I have some sample questions.
Oh, I love your sample questions. Brian, what are some sample questions that people could send us?
Okay, so let's just say that these could be some of the questions you might send in. Like this one. How important is my darn bathroom? I can't seem to keep it clean and I don't know what to do about it and I don't know if it matters. It's a good one, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
All right. Here's another question. Is the proper term peg or is the proper term hook?
Oh, yeah, I think we could probably do a whole 45-minute episode
Right.
on that one. Yeah.
In fact, let's do that. I'm going to scrap everything that we prepared for today.
Any other questions, Brian?
Yes,
People
my
might.
merchandising person just quit because I asked her to make the bibs look good. What do I do now?
Oh God, well that is hard making those bibs look good.
Ugh.
Oh. So thank you, Brian, for those questions that people could submit. If you're listening and you have some questions of your own, send us the questions, send us photos, send us a video. It's design@nbda.com, and we will feature your questions on our next episode.
Hmm.
Good. Very good. All right, Brian. So this is an exciting topic that came to me. I was on a run chatting with someone who works at a large retailer, and they
Wait, you can
said,
chat with people while you're running?
I do. I keep zone two, man, zone two. Focus though. Here we go. So the person I was chatting with told me that every time that this retailer does a store remodel, they have a big increase in sales for a period of 30 to 90 days post remodel. And I was like, I wonder when it comes to store remodels and redesigns in the bike retail world, maybe if this happens too. And I wanted to reach out and think not only about a sales spike, but other things that might happen post remodel or redesign. So, what do you think about that question?
I love the question. And the good news is that it's way better than just thinking 40 to 60 days after a remodel.
Yeah.
All the things we're going to talk about, you put everything together, and there's great justification for thinking about remodeling, updating, doing things like that in your store.
And I thought it was really cool to talk about this now because we're coming into a lot of retailers' slower season. Well, it'll be holidays, but when we start to think about next year, things were going to change, what we're prioritizing, and a remodel or re-merchandise of the store could be on that list.
Yep.
So I have a couple questions I want to ask you, Brian, and we'll just kind of see where it goes today, if that's cool.
And you shared some of the things you're going to ask questions about. So I've got notes here. So I've got my notes ready to go, and we can just dig in. And exciting topic. I love this.
I love this. Okay, so big picture question. Let's just start with why remodel. So I like to start really high up. So why? What are the most noticeable impacts a store remodel has, and why does it even make sense to consider it?
Okay, so the first thing, and I'll say this a couple times in here, I think, is that I couldn't find any data anywhere because I went back and I looked at retail statistics and stuff like that. I can't find any data that suggests that when you remodel, when you update a store, that the benefit isn't positive.
Oh, okay.
Like nobody's saying, well, sometimes you remodel and you've just wasted your money. It never says that. It's always a positive number.
Hmm, I like
So
that.
that's encouraging, right?
Especially when we need some positivity right now. I feel
Exactly.
like positivity is exactly what we need. All
Okay, so positivity. Pretend, Heather, that I am an investment broker for you.
right, okay.
Are you in that mind space?
Yes.
And I come to you and I say, I've got an investment that will pay you back at a bare minimum 10%, but could be 400%. It could be even higher than that. What would you say?
Oh, that's better than my current yield is in my other accounts. So I'd be like, yeah, Brian, let's go.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the way we got to look at this thing because, like I said, there's no data that suggests that you're not going to benefit from this remodel. You have to be careful not to spend too much on the remodel, but you're going to benefit from it. It's going to be a positive thing. Um, so that's just good justification.
Yeah. No.
Um, Another thing I wanted to point out now is that I don't often get to see pre and post sales results in the bike industry. And the data that's out there for the bike industry specifically is limited on this front. So what we're going to talk more about today is general retail. And because the numbers, well, it is retail, and we're going to be able to discern what the cycling industry could benefit from in a similar way by just looking at the industry numbers. Okay.
I like it.
Another thing is the numbers like ROI and those kind of numbers matter, but predictable, kind of pragmatic improvements, smoother operation, stronger team morale, those kind of things are just as real as the numbers that we want to hear, the percentages. So there's a lot of benefits to it that we're going to start to dig into. So let's talk about a few benefits of remodeling, right? One, of course, is increased sales. After a remodel, sales tend to go up, and we'll look at numbers here in a second. Repeat visits increase because the store feels worth coming back to. You've spiked people's interest in the store, so they come back
It feels
more
like
often.
it feels like fresh, right? Like I love it when I
Right.
walk in a space that feels redone. I'm just like, and I want to tell people about it. I want to be like, oh my God, have you been in? Have you seen?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Remodeling invites kind of a strategic look or prioritization on the way your product is arranged in the adjacencies and things like that, which just make the story that you're telling, well, fresh and more powerful. Um, Remodel can give you much better flow, more efficiency, and lower operating costs. So, one of the numbers that I didn't find anybody had was if you remodel in the right way, say you're making your service department more efficient, that's going to benefit your bottom line for sure.
Big time.
Um, so we're going to think about that too. Emotionally, the remodel changes perception of your customers. And a remodel says to your customer, in not so many words, this business is thriving. Because nobody remodels when they're about to go out of business.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's right. But also, like, there's a hidden benefit for retailers. Like, if you're noticing that some categories are doing better than others, or maybe your inventory product mix is maybe heavier in bike and less in P&A, or vice versa, a remodel can help you position the merchandise that is selling in a better way, right? Like, so there can be like some hidden benefits too.
Heck yeah. Speaking of another hidden benefit that makes complete sense and it's perfect for right now in this world, and that is a remodel and making your store look great makes your staff proud.
Yeah.
You know, if your people working in the store are proud to be there, they feel like you're moving and shaking, they feel like, this is the place. That creates a much better work environment. And what happens when you have a better work environment? They help people better and sales increase again, right?
I love it. I mean, there's a lot of benefits. I like foolishly was just thinking about the ROI as far as a sales metric, but I feel like just the customer's emotional perspective, the frequency they visit, the culture and staff, positivity. There's a lot of things that come out of it. So.
Yep. And I think you want to talk about sales lift, like the next question you have has something to do with sales, right?
Yeah, that was like the first place I went was the ROI. And I'm thinking about retailers, they're investing in updating their store. There is an investment. And if the data isn't there, maybe I would just ask you in a generalized way, like, what kind of sales lift have you seen? Because I know you've worked with several bike shops and other, sporting goods shops across the country, and I'm sure you've seen like, an influx of customers when the actual reopen date happens or something like that.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to talk all around this in a few different ways. So, like I said, the numbers that I have for bike specific sales increases after remodel are slim, but I've got an example to share in a couple minutes here. Again, I didn't find any numbers anywhere in the retail industry that suggested that your numbers go down after a remodel. So that's encouraging. But most of the time, the numbers fall between a 10 and 40% or even up to 95% increase in sales post remodel.
Wow.
There's a 2018 article from Entrepreneur magazine that said that they saw sales increase 50% or more following a redesign.
Wow.
There's other studies that said 14 to 95%. Um, Danaher did a study or did some research, and they said that after remodels, sales to new customers rose 43 to 44%, and sales to existing customers increased 7 to 10%.
Hmm.
I mean, 7 to 10% sounds really low for your existing customers, but I'm just reading what they had there.
Yeah.
Another thing about that's interesting in the numbers is that the remodel pays for itself. And I looked for somebody who could tell us how long we could expect it to take to get the return on investment.
Oh, good question.
And certainly it depends on how much you spend. But generally speaking, the numbers that I was able to find said 18 to 36 months is the amount of time where you would completely pay back the amount that you invested in the remodel. And what you got to think about there is one of the things we're going to talk about is small remodeling projects. The smaller the project, the faster that return is going to be. You could make some of these ideas back in a day.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like a big remodel, you're doing what every like how many years? But like these smaller remodels, yeah, I don't even know what the timeline is,
this
right?
doesn't have to be like tearing down the store and starting over again. It can be some smaller stuff that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Closer to home, there's an example that I have one of our clients that we work with in Montana in a bike shop. He actually uh, measured the sales of his helmets one year, and he had done $11,400 in helmet sales one year, and he said to himself, that's ridiculous. I know we have much more than that in the tank here, so let's remodel just our helmet section of the store. Let's put in new fixtures. I'm going to double the selection of the helmets, and we're going to really feature the helmet product in our store. So 7 months after he did the redesign of his helmet section, his sales had increased 286%.
Whew, I mean, that's some hard data that we could, you know.
Right? Well, I mean, and this is kind of crazy off the deep end numbers. Like we couldn't promise that to everybody, but his passion for the just knowing that they had that in them and then committing themselves to really featuring the helmet product. And maybe, I don't know, it could be electric bikes or it could be gravel bikes or something like that. It could be a different product every 6 months or something that you really feature and spark up a bunch of interest in, and you're gonna see an increase in the numbers.
I like that. I like the
In
helmet.
the
Like,
in the whole year that followed that remodel that I'm talking about, his sales were up over 480%
wow.
over that 11,400.
That's just
So
fixturing and lights and a focus on that
he
section.
didn't even touch the lights.
Oh, really?
This
I'm
was
all about the lights, Brian. I'm
this
all
was
about
increasing the footprint of the area that he was selling the helmets, increasing the number of helmets, and merchandising them much better.
wow. Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit, or maybe I asked you about just when a customer walks into a space that feels fresh. And you even, I think in one of your stats said they will visit more often. And that's a real thing, right? So anything that we should chat about there, like if we're doing a remodel, we probably want to let our customers know, like that's number one, like a big part of it. But
Right. So from a psychological or emotional perspective, there's some really, really as we're going through this stuff, Heather, I think it gets juicier and juicier.
yeah, well,
So
I like juicy.
I think it's
So
super
Brian, I
interesting.
like juicy. So let's
I
go.
know, right? Um, when a space is remodeled, our brains react instinctively and quickly. A modern, well-lit space releases a small burst of dopamine in your brain, and you know what dopamine is, right? So makes you excited about it. And it says to the customer, these people know what they're doing. It says these people are thriving, this store is thriving, that kind of thing. And the really fascinating part is the brain releases that dopamine not only when you get the reward of purchasing a new bike and getting out there and having fun on that thing, but you get the dopamine hit when you expect one. Like when you expect the experience to be good, like a great bike ride or a spectacular purchase or something like that, or just plain fun. So when you walk into the space, what you're doing is you're telling a story to someone that they should expect something great coming. And that opens them up so that the anticipation of the experience starts even before they've purchased the product. And it puts them in a mindset that makes them more open to sales, makes them more open to spend money.
I just like reflect back when I had the shop and we would just change up the bike lineup, a simple like remodel of the bike lineup, which was a big deal because we had hundreds of bikes on the floor. But customers would come in and they'd be like, everything was cool again. You know, they would notice product that they had never, that had been there for like months, but they hadn't seen. And it was like just that change up in their mind. They were like ready to spend and wanted to buy something because it felt cool and fresh. Like, I don't know. That's a little bit sideways, but I wanted to share that because,
I think walking into a freshly redone store is like watching a brand new movie,
mm,
Like think about that. Like what sounds more interesting, walking or going to a brand new movie that you've never seen before or watching the same one you've seen 20 times?
yeah.
It's so many stores, I won't even say just bike shops, but so many stores that you walk into, it's the same movie for the 20th time when you walk in there.
Hmm.
Nothing interesting going on there. And the story of a brand new movie, and even if you don't end up loving the movie, it's still fun. It's still an experience to be there. So I think we got to treat our stores as if we're creating some content for the customer that they're going to walk into and they're going to enjoy the process of getting to know what's been done.
And I like how you commented that the staff culture gets boosted too, like the morale gets boosted because it's
Mhm.
like, look where I work. Like it feels good, you know?
Yep. You want to talk about dwell time?
Yeah, yeah. I was you read it. It was all over my face. Like
Well, I mean, it does kind of build on itself here. Like, um, so this is really, really, really like this might be one of the biggest things that we talk about in the whole thing. Um, Makes sense that an interesting new store will hold the interest of the customer longer, just like that new movie, right?
mhm.
They're going to want to explore that experience and they want to hang out a little bit more and see what's new, see what's going on. That is dwell time. Dwell time is the time spent inside the store. So there, it's a fact. Higher dwell time equals higher sales. So if you only know that, it's a good justification for changing things up
Yeah.
because it keeps people engaged, keeps them interested, keeps them in the store for longer. Dwell time, the stats that I can dig up say that the dwell time increases 15 to 25% after a remodel.
Wow.
I think that's probably conservative, honestly. I think you could change it more dramatically than that pretty easily.
Maybe because people need to get more like re-familiarized with the store. They want to like get reconnected. They're like I kind of said, like seeing things in a new light. Like even if stuff's been there before, they're seeing it maybe for the first time even. So
Right. And you don't want to just change things up for the sake of changing things up and confuse people, certainly. But if you're telling a new story and you've got new things to see and people are wandering around wondering if, this new experience is for them, then that's exactly where you want them. There's some academic work by Elsevier. I don't know who they are necessarily, but they figured out that customers stayed longer and shopped more often after a remodel. They said the purchase frequency more than doubled,
Wow.
And the overall customer value rose by 60% in their study. So, uh, doing the remodel, increasing the dwell time does all kinds of things for you.
Yeah.
And, and
And
there's a ripple effect because that person who just got re-engaged with your store is way more likely to recommend and refer your store to someone else. So think about Joe's just been into your store. He's super excited about the new look, the new offering that you have. When he's talking to his other buddy, he's gonna turn them on to his new or to the shop that he loves. So the remodel boosts referrals.
yeah.
In fact, the numbers say that the likelihood of someone recommending increases 20 to 30% after a remodel.
Damn, I mean, that's pretty good because like we want to share what we know. So if I know that, your store got remodeled, I want to tell people because then I'm like the bearer of the awesome news. So
Exactly. You want to be the one that's in the know. You want to be
yeah.
the one that gets to share that first. And
Yeah.
that could be via social media, by the way. Um, uh, so keep on going with this logic. You put these factors all together, and what happens is you're impacting the customer's lifetime value dramatically by your remodel
It sounds
because
like all positive, Brian. It
it
sounds,
all builds. There,
but with
it's
positive things, like we make mistakes though, right? Like
no, we don't ever make mistakes.
there has to be like mistakes that retailers could make when it comes to remodeling or remodeling poorly.
Okay, we can talk about mistakes.
Like it sounds like we want to do it, but we don't want to do it wrong.
All right, so I bet you could guess what I would say the first mistake is that we make when regarding a remodel.
Not consulting an expert.
Well, that's on the list, but that wasn't the first one.
Uh,
No,
um,
the biggest mistake is indecision, like
oh,
putting it off.
uh,
Like back to that investment thing. If you had the investment broker and they said, I could make you 400% on this thing, would you say,
let me think about it.
yeah, I'll think about that. I don't know. Just I'll think about it. I'll get back to you next year. But that's the biggest problem. No decision is the worst decision because you're the exciting juice that your store has is just decreasing over time as things get more settled and it's less interesting. Um, Other problems, other mistakes that are made, not truly seeing what's happening in your store. Like the old boiling a frog thing, you know that? What is that?
Yeah.
It's the old thing. What is that? When you throw a frog into water and then the water's cold, you can turn up the heat and the frog will stay in the water. But if you threw the frog in hot water, it would jump right out. You don't know this?
No, but I thank you for teaching me.
I I literally put in my notes the old frog in hot water thing, and I thought for sure that
I
okay,
forgot about it.
Heather, everybody else that's listening to this knows the frog in the hot water thing.
Okay.
If you heat up a frog in water slowly, it stays in the water and it's going to die.
Oh,
If
poor
you throw it
frog.
into hot water, it jumps right back out because it's hot water, and that's what happens in stores. We get used to them, and you don't really see what's going on in the store. So the first problem with regard to remodeling is not seeing what's going on in your store, not opening your eyes to what's really going on.
How do
That
you
makes sense, right?
I'm with you. I can't I came back. I'm with you. So how do we open our eyes to see what's really going on in the store?
Ask people who aren't you what they see.
Oh, great.
Have people that you know and trust go shop the store and give you some honest input.
That's what we do in P2. Like we bring a group of retailers in to
Yep.
audit another store and we give the retailer feedback. And it's true. The retailer's like, oh, I never even saw that. Like I never even, yeah.
One of the other things that I have recommended for years is that you put a camera in the store, like a time lapse camera. These days, it's super simple because you can just grab a camera, like a security camera style camera, throw it in the store, trained on a specific section, and watch what happens in that section in fast time over the course of a week.
Mm,
And if you look at an area of the store and that shirt, let's say, hasn't moved in an entire week because no one's looking at it, that's seeing what's really going on. And you might ignore that unless you're looking at it that way.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to keep on going here.
Okay.
Not knowing your own brand is another problem with the remodeling thing, like, or not paying attention to your own brand and trying to build what you're doing in the remodel toward making a unique expression of your own brand. You don't want to create a story that any old bike shop could claim. You want something to be special about your store. So you really need to think about when you dig into remodeling, whatever we're talking about, making sure that the special sauce that you have as a brand is demonstrated through that remodel.
Kind of like how you did with was it Freedom Bike Works, right? Like there was a
Exactly.
thing going on there. Yeah.
Exactly. Another big problem is no budgeting. Because it's intimidating, people don't like to budget, so they don't budget. So they get three-quarters of the way into something and then they can't afford to finish it.
Mm, yep.
So if you budget ahead of time with the help of experts, probably you can see what's coming and be able to finish what you're setting out to do.
Brian, I talk to retailers all the time who are like moving locations or doing a remodel, and I'm like, you've done the budget, right? You know that this is all gonna, oh, no, but I'm confident. And I'm like, red flag, red flag.
Exactly. Speaking of red flags, DIY isn't always cheaper.
Oh, yeah,
You
right?
know, like building this fantastic new wood display in the middle of your store isn't necessarily the best use of your time. Could be that you need to pay someone to build that thing who's a pro, who might get it done much faster and much better, by the way. But it might be that you need to pay them so that you can free up your own time so that you can be making sales during the renovation.
Yeah. Hmm.
Not asking experts for their design help or their experience. So in this case, it could be you, could be someone in your P2 group, it could be another retailer, could be us. Like lean on the people that you know that really know and have been through what you're talking about doing and listen to them.
Yeah. Because you're gonna hit things that you've never experienced before, and it's better to have someone give you a heads up before you get into it than
Right.
out halfway through the project.
100%. Another problem that I see, another mistake that I see is people designing things in their head well, designing things, period, without agility in mind. Like they design let's say it's a display for, I don't know, helmets. A helmet display that can only be used as a helmet display. So when you need to change things up 6 months from now, you can't.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just an example. There's lots of different kinds of examples, but I see that being a problem too, is people design themselves into a corner
And they get stuck.
and
Oh,
they get stuck.
mm,
And that's another one of the things that an expert like you or me or someone else that could help you with. Neglecting lighting is another problem. People tend to ignore lighting, and that's a terrible thing because it can help you so much.
like
One last note on the mistakes. We hear a lot of the time we get into a process, and then one part of the process, the client says, well, we'll probably make that change in phase two. You ever heard that?
phase two. Yeah. That comes after phase one.
Phase two never happens.
You get done with phase one and you're just like, I'm
By the
done.
time you're done with phase one, you're not in the mood to do phase two, and chances are that you just ruined your window of opportunity, and now it's going to be the busy season again. So by the time it's time to do phase two, you're really starting over again. So don't, I guess I would just caution you to not think about a phase two because it's so much less likely to happen.
Don't phase it out. I like
All
that.
right, ready to move on to the next thing?
Well, yeah, because, in the beginning of this conversation, I think with the frog analogy, which I'm still kind of trying to figure out, but it was like, just jump in, just like do it. There's never a right time or something. I don't know, hot water, a frog. All right.
It's not the, that's not the moral of that story, no.
Okay, well, anyway, let's go to timing. You said like, there's never a great time, just jump in. But we should think about, do we keep the shop open? Timing, scope of project, any tips there? I'm sorry, Brian. I'm doing the best I can here.
The moral of the story is just jump in the boiling water. I don't know. That doesn't seem like it makes any sense, but whatever. Okay, so the disruption factor that we're talking about and how we deal with that. One thing we can do is to take a step back and document what you're trying to accomplish in the store or what you're trying to upgrade or what you're trying to fix. Like document it, write it down to help prevent scope creep. Because let's say you're working on that helmet section, you're going to document, we're looking to sell, 100% more helmets in this section by doing X, Y, and Z. If you have that written down, you're committed to that. That's going to prevent you from getting distracted and refurbishing the bathroom along the way. Because refurbishing the bathroom along the way is going to get in the way of you finishing the helmet section.
So have a plan,
So
documented.
have a plan, aim straight towards it, be efficient, get it in there. Um, Start tracking right now your pre-makeover numbers. This is huge. And the vast majority of the time, I find that that doesn't happen. But start tracking the numbers that you want to track later on now. Like when I'm walking into a brand new space, brand new store, one of the first things I do is I take pictures from the front door as if I'm looking into a finished store, and I take those pictures. And then when the store is done, I take the same exact picture so you can look at the change between day one and day 100 or whatever. So think about that kind of thing in terms of the numbers that you're trying to impact and start measuring those now so that you can see if you're making the moves that you need to later on.
Hmm.
Um, Plan ahead and give yourself enough time. The um, the last thing you want to do is paint yourself in a corner where you don't have enough time to get done what you want to get done. So plan ahead. Maybe it's a 6 month effort, and all 6 months isn't like, plastic up in the store and painter's tape everywhere. The first few months are planning things out, getting everything ready, which leads me to remember the show Extreme Home Makeover?
Yes, I'd love.
I think there's a new version of it, isn't there?
I don't know about that, but I do know the other one.
That show used to frustrate me because they make it look like from the day that you start a home remodeling project till the day you finish it is about a week.
It's so quick.
Yeah, it's like,
Move the bus. We're done.
oh my gosh, you got the city to cooperate and give you your permits exactly when you wanted them to, and your grass grew overnight. And so think like that show did and prep, get everything ready, get it ready to deploy, and then execute like crazy. To do a remodel, let's say it's a new clothing section or a new electric bike section of the store or something,
Yeah.
you could get everything ready, put it in a storage unit, put it in a container, put it in the space next door or someplace in your garage, get everything 100% ready to go. Graphics, the paint you're going to need, everything, and then execute it as quickly as possible. That minimizes the disruption, condenses all of that construction phase into the smallest possible amount of time.
I like that. That's a great idea.
Think about celebrating the fact that you're under construction instead of moaning about it.
Oh, yeah, positivity.
Exactly. Like, keep in mind that the fact that you're remodeling is a super positive thing to communicate to your customers. People don't remodel when they're going out of business. So if you have a portion of the store that's got plastic up and there's noisy things happening inside there because things are happening, that's really cool.
Yeah.
There is a disruption factor to it, but it's really cool, and you can make the most of it by communicating to the customers exactly what you're up to. Maybe there's cool graphics. Maybe there's a 3D depiction of what's going to happen to this space. And by the way, you should come back in 2 weeks and see the finished product.
Yeah, talk it up. I like that, especially if it's like a new e-bike section or something that people are going to be pumped about. Let's do
Oh,
it.
heck yeah. You can get them to come back just because they saw the construction happening. That's a reason to celebrate it. Consider, in terms of disruption, consider not having too many cooks in the kitchen.
Hmm.
Since you didn't know the frog thing, do you
I
know what I
know,
mean by
I
too
know
many
this.
cooks in the kitchen?
I know this one. It's there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, these-
Um, inside a bike shop, inside any retailer, you've got different people, different employees, different customers. Everybody has different opinions about what should and could be done in that space. And a lot of the times, what I see in bike shops is we listen to a few too many people and try to make everybody happy by listening
Hmm.
and taking all of their input, and it has a tendency to slow us down. When the people who really, really know are probably whoever's listening to this podcast, chances are your brain, because you're listening to this podcast, you're the person in this store that's the most qualified to start thinking about this and really listen to the experts, plan the execution out, and go for it. And don't let too many different opinions take you in too many different directions. How's that?
That was good. That's a good explanation of too many cooks in the kitchen. Um,
We still got a couple more of your questions, don't we?
yeah, well, what about those not ready for a big full redesign?
Oh,
We
yeah.
talked about maybe just remodeling like small things, or are there some, in your opinion, lower cost improvements, smaller redesigns that can still deliver this like noticeable boost in customer experience and everything?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, heck yeah, he said.
Oh, heck yeah. Even
Like,
if you
what
just
are
take
those?
a little corner of the store and make it better, you could count that as a remodel. And you're doing the right thing.
Like the helmet remodel, that
The
example.
helmet thing is a perfect example. That wasn't a large cost. Like you didn't have to spend a bunch of money. It didn't take a bunch of time. It was interesting and it had gigantic results, but it didn't have to be big or hard to do.
Yeah.
Um, another thing that you should think about is the old lighting upgrade. You already mentioned it once. I mentioned it once. Just improving the light alone can increase your sales. The stats say 6 to 12%, but I think it's higher than that again because so many environments are lit terribly. So I think you can make a big improvement without spending a bunch of money. It is pretty easy. We can help you. Heather can help you. Lighting's a great place to start. Another remodeling idea that's smaller would be to declutter and remerchandise things.
Yeah, love that one. Just that
Like
clean. Just clean. Like we've said it a million times.
just clean, clear out things, create better sight lines, give the customer some breathing room as they're looking at things. Maybe repaint a wall or walls. Maybe put a new wall covering on that wall that's been, used hard over the years. Anything you can do to refresh it. So when the customer walks in, they're like, it's like getting a haircut and people are like, did you do something different? What's going on here?
We went to visit a retailer up in Duluth, I think I can say it. And we did it all at the store, and we were like, take those blinds down. They're not doing anything for you. And lime green is part of your color. Let's get a little splash of lime green in this place. And just those little things like change the whole look of the store. So it doesn't have to be big.
Figure out something that you are really, that your store's passionate about and create a display that shows the passion.
Oh, I like that.
And plan on changing it and changing it often. Like don't ever think that what you're doing today is going to be that way for the rest of time. Everything is going to need to be redone. So that means that if you did make a mistake in this process, it's temporary.
Yep.
Like that's not a good reason to not do it. Like go ahead and go for it. Try it. If it doesn't work, then just then pivot and do something different. Even that is helping you out because people see things changing and it's more interesting.
Yeah. And
Um,
stagnate like the
how
kiss.
about updating signage and graphics throughout the store?
Oh, I like that.
Like do that and at the same time create a plan to do that more often. You might have images of people riding bikes in the space, and those bikes might be from 1997. And these days you can see the difference between the 97 bike and today's bike.
Yep.
So replace that stuff so it looks like you're paying attention. Do things like better wayfinding signage in the store to get people through more efficiently. Um, Add community touch points, like think community for the store, add that coffee area that you always wanted to, do a photo wall, do a little, I don't know, a Instagram wall that you can take pictures in front of, do just about anything to increase the connection with the community. One last thing is challenge yourself to stop simply rolling e-bikes into a row in the store and leaving them.
That doesn't happen, does it, Brian?
Oh,
I mean, it's
oh
hard.
my goodness. It's
Like,
like all storytelling ceases when it comes to e-bikes
I know. I
because they're heavy and you can't pick them up and you can't put them up on the wall. So we're just going to put a row of them against the window and we're done.
Yeah, it's challenging,
It
Brian.
is. It's super challenging, but it's going to make a big difference for you.
You work in other retail sectors like outdoor and ski and running shops. Is there anything that we could borrow from other sectors that you're seeing being done?
No, not really.
No.
Next question.
Okay. Looking looking
No,
ahead.
other industries. If we're going to pick up some things from other industries design for emotional connection, not
Oh,
just function, but emotional connection. Think
like
less warehouse and more inspiration. Like think of stores like Apple stores or Patagonia or Shields is a great example. They're doing great things. Or Lululemon. Think about the inspiration and think about the emotional connection that those great retailers are making with their customers all
here,
the time.
here's how I'm gonna feel after I buy this and I'm using this out here. Yeah.
Yep. The days of, and there's exceptions for sure, but the days of the bike shop that has 500 bikes on hand, three-tier racks everywhere, and just product galore,
Mhm.
those are fewer and fewer because things are just different now with the interwebs and all that. It's just a different world that we live in. So let's concentrate on emotional connection. Constantly refresh is another thing to pick up from the rest of the industry.
I really like that.
Constantly refresh. Can you imagine going into the Apple store and they have a big, beautiful graphic on the wall for the iPhone 14? Would never happen when they have a 17 out.
I was just like, wow, my phone is cool again. That's
But that just can't happen. And in bike shops, especially, it happens all the time. Like,
Gotta
think
keep it
about
fresh.
that.
Gotta keep it fresh. Yeah.
Think about zones of experience. Other retailers really do a very intentional job of breaking things into different experiences in inside the bike world. That might be the gravel experience or the urban experience or the e-bike experience or kids or something like that. Just do a good job of catering to those different experiences. Here's a fun thing. You ready for a fun thing?
All right. Yes.
Don't be afraid to have sharp edges as a brand. Have we
Oh,
talked about that before?
I don't think so, but I want to.
Okay, let's imagine you have an object that has all kinds of sharp edges on it.
Uh-huh.
What happens if you sand off all of those sharp edges?
Then it's just like an object. It's just like
It's dull.
it's dull. Yeah, thank you. That's what I meant to say. Yes, thank
Exactly. See, it's proof that you didn't know what I was going to say.
you.
Um, it's just dull. And the same with your brand, with your store. If you take all the sharp edges away from that brand, then you're just creating something that's dull. If it's the safest thing you can possibly do, chances are it's not the best thing you can possibly do,
We need a little character. We need
which
a
is fun. Like remember when Nog, the light brand, the bike light brand, remember when they first started and they did those racy ads and it was super immature and they did like, do you remember what I'm talking about?
no, but
No. So, someone listening, like many people listening to this, do know what I'm talking about. When they first came out, they were doing all kinds of racy advertising that was like kind of like potty humor kind of stuff.
okay.
And they had tons of sharp edges and it made them very memorable and it put them on the map. They've changed now, which is, you have to think about refreshing your brand too.
Yeah.
But they had lots of sharp edges. I think bike shops could have tons of nice sharp edges. Have fun, be funny, be racy, be, controversial if you need to, but mean something, stand out.
Sharp.
Other great retailers do these things. Celebrate expertise. The bike world is not super great at celebrating the expertise that they have in the shop.
Uh-huh.
So if that's bike fitting, or if that's your mechanics, or if that's just, I don't know, years on the job and just the pure experience level of the shop, uh, celebrate that inside the store. Last thing I'm going to say here that I see in the rest of the retail world is help your customers do some good in the world by engaging with your brand. So think about brands like, I don't know, Tom's
Oh,
or
sustainability, like buy one, we donate one or whatever. Yep.
Warby Parker. Patagonia is good for like you feel like if you're shopping at Patagonia, you're saving the planet,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. There's tons of local community things that you could be doing that helps people feel great about shopping there, about spending money with you because they're helping something else out. All right, sorry, we're running late. I gotta keep on going.
No, I know. I just one last question. I know we got like 5 minutes left here. Any trends or technologies that you see coming into thinking about if we're going to do a remodel? So more TVs, more uh, smart screens. I don't know. Anything you're noticing there?
Um, there's a there's a presentation that I did years ago about the cutting edge in the bike retail universe is what's currently happening in the rest of the retail universe. Like the bike world doesn't have the money that, I don't know, Apple again or something else has. So they're probably not going to be the ones breaking ground on the newest technologies and stuff. But pay attention to what's out there and available to you today because that's changing quickly.
Yeah.
Um, Flexibility is a huge, uh, it's hard to call it a trend, but it is a thing out there. Like having the ability to change things up at a moment's notice inside your store is something to pay attention to. And that could be all kinds of different things. Like, I don't know, printing new graphics these days is so much easier than it used to be. So why not do it more?
Right.
Hybrid shopping is the norm now. Customers move themselves fluidly between online and in-store purchases and stuff like that. So think about pickup zones in the store. Think about encouraging online purchases that they pick up. Think about doing QR code information that they can scan with their phone as they're walking through the store. Better digital storytelling inside the store. Um, Trends, this goes right back to the experience thing. Like, um, experience really is the new product. Think less about what product you have on display and think more about the experience. So, roll out new ways to communicate that experience, however you want to.
Yeah.
Sustainability and authenticity is something that is kind of a trend right now. Like make your brand, make your store feel real and less fake and um, less salesy. So pick materials that are maybe more real or more natural. Consider reclaimed wood. Look at craftsmanship inside the store and don't assume that people don't see the difference between great craftsmanship and terrible craftsmanship.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, On the human side, do workshops, live demos, uh, maps, engage people. That's we've been talking about that for decades, but it's it's what the great retailers are doing. So do that. And then I'm going to leave you with one last word.
What is it? Oh boy.
Last word is fidgetal. P
Digital.
Phygital.
PHYG. All right. I
Have
like
you
it.
ever heard that term before?
It's like physical meets digital, maybe.
Bam!
Oh, I got one right today. Ha.
Bam! You're right on it. Well, remember that word because it's I'm positive it's going to become more of our normal vernacular. Phygital means is it's that blending between physical and digital, and it's what we can do today in retail that we've never been able to do before, and it's so much easier than it ever could have been before. And what that might be, I don't know, it could be using three virtual reality headset. Think of Vision Pro or whatever headset you want to, and help customers to envision themselves in a specific experience in your store. That's really proper phygital kind of experience, like you're digitally showing someone a physical environment and getting their interaction. But anything where you use digital technology to help people imagine and spark the interest in that emotional environment.
I
So
like
imagine a fitting room. Use use the training systems that you can put on a computer screen that link up with the trainer bike. Create a surround kind of a system so that you're able to have fun test riding this bike in an environment that's not just the parking lot. I don't know.
good.
Inspire people's imagination.
It's good stuff. I mean, we've been talking for an hour about all the positive reasons to remodel. I mean, you said yourself, you could not find anything that says this is going to be a bust. This is going to hurt your business. It's only positive. So, lots of great tips and advice today, Brian, as always. I must say, I thank you so much.
I'm sorry I blabbed for a little bit too long, but it's exciting. It's like this is great stuff. It's so valuable.
So if people want to get started, they want to ask an expert, get an idea, a couple ways. You can send us your design, remodeling, remerchandising questions, design@nbda.com. If you want more in-depth help, reach out to Brian. We've got a link right in the show notes to the Fixture Lab website. You can get in touch with him there. I'm sure he'll help you. Um, and yeah, send us those questions too. We'd love to answer them. Brian, thank you so much for all your insight and guidance today.
Thank you.
It was a good topic, right? It was
It
fun.
was great. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, listeners, thank you for being here at Bicycle Retailer Radio. Don't forget, come back bi-monthly feature. So we got a month off and a month on. So Brian, can't wait to see you. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning into Bicycle Retail Radio, presented by the National Bicycle Dealers Association. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, please like, subscribe, or leave us a review. Sharing this podcast with your friends helps us reach more listeners and continue to bring you the best content. Remember, we host 2 shows per week with ever-changing guests and fresh content to keep you both informed and inspired. The National Bicycle Dealer Association is committed to providing valuable events, webinars, and opportunities for industry education and connection. Stay up to date by visiting NBDA.com to see our event calendar. Special thanks to Francis Abbott for the promotional graphics for today's episode. If you're interested in advertising on Bicycle Retail Radio or have a guest suggestion, visit NBDA.com to learn more. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Bicycle Retail Radio.